Albert.
Yes.
So I wanted to just quickly have an amendment to what we did, the one we did before, because I don't want to. I don't want it to sound like I condone all of the changes that were made to New Hope to make the special edition. A lot of them I did, but there were a couple I didn't, and the biggest one that was the shocker for me when I went to see it was the, Han did shoot first. Han shot first. So when I went to see the special edition, I'd heard it as a rumor. It was a rumor I heard after I'd left. I was already at Disney. I just started at Disney, and I heard the rumor that it wasn't over. I thought it was over. I thought we'd wrapped, and I'd left. And I heard it wasn't over. Oh, what are they doing to it now? And I heard about this rumor about Greedo shooting first, flipping it. So I thought that maybe it was one of those ideas that George had, because he had another one and he screened it for us. It was to do with the detention room, the prison break, and he screened it for us, and we all hated the idea, and so we said we hated the idea, and it didn't make it in the movie, and it's great. So I thought that if this was something that was being put forward as an idea, that it's not going to fly. It's never going to. It doesn't make any sense. That takes away the arc for Han. He has to be the scoundrel. That's his arc. So it's like, why would he take that away? So when I did see it in the big screen, at Man's Chinese Theatre, and that shot came up, I was mortified, and it was like a blemish on New Hope, I thought. So I understand, and agree with everyone on that. That Han shot first. I agree. Shouldn't have been in the movie. So I just wanted to say that because it sounded like I loved all the changes, and I really didn't. There was a shot I did of the Ronto, that rearing up, and that, I could make a whole movie about just that, about the argument, how it went so wrong so fast and out of my hands. But we can do that another time. But I just wanted to say that before we started.
So how did you first hear about Boba being added?
This certain cameraman told me that they were going to add Boba Fett into the movie and have a special edition with this extra footage in the movie. And he said, you've done those summits. You're the guy that fits the suit. So you should, give Tom Kennedy an email. So I was like, oh, okay. So when I wrote to Tom Kennedy, I just put, a little bird told me that blah, 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 blah. I just happen to fit the suit. If you need my services, I will be more than happy to oblige. It's honest. Got nothing to lose. Send. It's gone. I can't remember if it was. I don't think it was the same day. I think it was the next day that I got a reply, and he wasn't happy. Who told you this? He was very upset that the news was out. There was going to be a special edition. But I didn't know. I wasn't. Because one person told me, and I already said I couldn't say who that was. It was a little bird, as you know. So I thought, I've blown it. He's really mad. he's mad at me for A, for hearing about it, and B, not telling him who the little bird was. So I thought, that's it. And then next thing I know, I had a visit from Steve Williams. He dropped by, and I thought it was just a social visit, but he said about, I hear there's a rumor you might be jumping in that suit again. I'm like, what? And he goes, well, I never told you. Another little bird. I never told you. But I think you're going to get an email soon from Tom Kennedy. And so I was like, oh my God. It's like I didn't know whether to celebrate or not. It wasn't official yet. I didn't want to celebrate. Imagine celebrating and then not. So I didn't want to tell anybody until I knew. It was really hard. Really hard. But I did get an email, and so then it almost became a reality. I still had to go to my production office and request that they give me the day off. So I went along I was working on Casper at the time, and I was doing some really big shots that they were pleased with, so I was in their good books already. So when I requested the day off, they were all like, yeah, we'll even pay you for it. And so they let me have the day off. So then it was they've said this. Okay, well, I guess you're doing it then. And then it was a reality, and then it was something I could tell. But everyone was in disbelief, everyone I told. Like, really? What? How? What? They couldn't believe the good fortune. They thought the good fortune had peaked, as did I, at the summit. I thought that was it. How can you get better than that? How can you get better than wearing the suit in the cantina with all the aliens for 4 hours, the actual suit? But now you're to be included into the movie, so it's just like a whole new thing. Unbelievable.
Well, what do you remember of the morning itself?
I remember it was very cold, and it wasn't going to be my usual work day. My usual work day consisted of getting up, getting into work. I think dailies for Casper was pretty early, like 8:30, and so go to dailies, watch dailies. When your shot comes up, you get your notes, make a mental note or scribble something down, go back to my desk, make those changes. As soon as I'm ready, hand it off to my technical director, who will light it and composite the animation, and that'd be my work day. But today was going to be like completely different. I was completely I didn't know how to prepare other than show up. And I remember it was unusually early because it's, soundstage. And I think I was there for like 7:30 or something like that. And I think they just wanted to get me in early to get me suited up, because the suiting up took time, and the task at hand was quite a momentous one, really. This wouldn't be hard to do in any normal situation, because whenever a shoot happens, like the original shoot that we were trying to composite me into, the original footage was shot at a certain height. The camera was a certain height from the floor, and had a certain lens on it, and the combination of the two gave a perspective in front of the camera. And the job at hand was to try and guess at what those two things were, because all the camera data was destroyed after New Hope was filmed. They didn't keep any of the camera data. Normally it's kept, but they threw everything away. They trashed it. And so the whole morning was having to try various heights of the camera and lenses and walk me through in front of the blue screen. And on a monitor in front of them, they had the original film footage that was shot that I wasn't in, but other characters were. And what they did is they were looking to see that my perspective matched everyone else's. And once they had got those things to work, then they knew where the actual position relative to me was, the height of that camera, and the lens on that camera. So what Steve had to do was crazy hard to do. And yet when you see the finished result, I'm just, look, I'm there. The other thing that they had to do is they had no lighting information either. So Joe Laturi was is the lighter for ILM, and he was there on the day setting up the lights to mimic the lighting in this 1976 footage, you know. So it was a huge task ahead to kind of, and they were fading between the two to kind of see me versus with the blue screen versus the background and see how I blended. But the good side of this, having to, like, you know, keep walking through it and keep doing it, was that I got to rehearse. I got to walk through from my start position to my end position over and over again, over and over and over. So it was good that they did have that long kind of exploration to trying to find those things, because it gave me loads of time to really kind of feel what I needed to do for the performance. So.
What was that day? What date was that?
It was slated as December 6th, I believe, 1994. And the slate, I think it was even the slate number was JB3. It was Jabba 3 was the shot for the morning. Pretty sure that was it.
All right, so this is what I want to know. Were you nervous?
I was extremely nervous. This is the first time I'd ever done this. This isn't my job. I'm not an actor officially. So when I turned up for the job, I didn't want to let anyone down, and I didn't want to let any of the fans down. I knew how important this was to get right, and I've been a Star Wars fan even at that point. Back in 1994, I'd been a Star Wars fan for so many years. It meant the world to me. So that weighed heavy on the responsibility that I had stepping into this suit. It was one thing to do it for the summit. I was doing it for the benefit of the people I was with. I was doing it for the benefit of the patrons. But this was going to be preserved for all time. This was going to be documented. I couldn't mess up. So I was only nervous because I cared so much not to mess up. So
I noticed when you were doing when you see that one movie do where you walk and then you have to turn. What was that like from inside the helmet? What were they like?
That's exactly the thing. That's exactly the point. It's I had this nervousness because I'd never done this. I had to. They walked me through my first shot. My first shot was I had a piece of tape. It's a piece of cream-colored masking tape on the floor. A little X, and there was another X over there. I had to walk from here to there and stop in a way that I'm going to stand there for a while, so get comfortable. And so that's easy enough, but I had to do it with intent. You have to do it. I luckily had all that time to practice at the summit. So when I was at the summit and I was moving between the tables, I was thinking, how would Boba Fett move? He obviously moves with deliberation, so he's going to move very confidently. He's going to go to where he wants to go, but be ready to change that should it be necessary. It's almost like a panther-ish. So when I glided through the tables, I would always pick somewhere to walk to, and then check what was around, walk to it, but very deliberately and slow. If something was happening, but not stop. If I did stop, that's when they went, But I thought, this is what he would do, And can you imagine with the helmet? Can you imagine what, there's nothing in there. But all of the gadgets that would be at Boba Fett's disposal. Here I am on the film set, and I haven't got that luxury of doing that. I'm trying to get the performance right, but not get too carried away. I still had to stop at my mark and everything. But in addition to this responsibility, you had to do it in this suit, which limited mobility. Plus, on the first shot, Steve Williams was I was holding the rifle. It was comfortable. It was how I held it the whole 4 hours. I was comfortable with this rifle in my arms. The silhouette's not good. What? You crank it round to the side. So I'm cranking it around to the side. That's it. I'm inside the helmet, like, what? Yeah, now just walk forward, like walk it through and see how comfortable that feels. I already knew it was not going to be comfortable, but I did my homework when I did my homework for the summit. I'd watched how Jeremy Bulloch walked. I watched the pace, that confident kind of pace. So I'm there like this, trying to do this confident pace that I had studied. So I walked it through. That's great. I was thinking he was going to say, it said, looks terrible. Can we change it? And I get comfortable. But he loved this. I was like, oh my God. Okay, I've got to make this look good. So I'm trying to do all of this with the armor on, with 90% of my vision gone, because, I wish there was a HUD like I'd imagined, but there wasn't. You got no peripheral vision, I kind of, as I was doing the play thing at the summit, when I was doing I kind of was thinking about the whole reason that there's just this T, because all you have is your peripheral vision, like I said, to a point, and you had some, you could see it directly in front of you. And I always thought that was kind of cool, the way it made like a target, so that if you did have like some enhanced targeting, as soon as you go in the crosshairs in the middle, as soon as you're in the middle of that T, beep, 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 dead. You just choose which of part of my arsenal am I going to use to get this over with nice and quick. That's why no disintegrations is a bummer, because that's the quickest way. Anyway. So that was why I was nervous. It was the fact that it was the first time I had to kind of do it with purpose. I had to act as best I could with all this armor on, and only 10% of my vision. And they'd also put a piece of tape for Harrison Ford's eye line. It was another piece of tape on the blue screen. So there's one for I start, one for I finish, but that was where Harrison Ford would be. So I have to kind of check him out. Trouble. So I have to do that as well.
Oh, so now what I'd like to know is, well, I think what everybody would like to know is about the shoulder pad.
The shoulder pad, the infamous shoulder pad mix-up. Well, the shoulder pad mix-up, when I did the summit and I turned up they were mixed up then. The internet did exist when I was at ILM, but they, as a studio for Beta, they didn't want the worry of leakage from all the digital information leaking out. So they opted to not have any internet at work. But without any internet access, and internet was pretty new back then as well. It's not like now where you can see anything you can conjure in your brain, you can see on the internet now. But back then you had to rely on any material you had hardback, a magazine, like something tangible. And so when I turned up to the summit, I was like, this is wrong, isn't it? The shoulder pads. Surely the skull is, skull's this side because there's my tattoo of it. But it was on this side. And, my testosterone was like, my adrenaline was, I didn't care. I just wanted to be in the suit and playing Boba Fett. I wasn't going to let that spoil my night. And so that had happened. And here I was on the blue screen shoot, and again, the shoulders are the other way. I can't remember if I mentioned to Annie about it. Said, are these easy to swap? Because I think this is the wrong side. And she was like, no, there was no time for that.
Where's Annie?
And it was my wardrobe. And so she was actually the wardrobe for the SARLACC pit. So she dressed Boba Fett for the SARLACC pit. Dickie Beers doing the stunts. She was his dress as well. But I said, is it, can we swap them? Oh, no, can't do that. So I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to say, oh no, stop the shoot. Stop everything. I don't want to do it. Then I'll just get someone else to do it. So there's no way I was going to say anything, And over the years, it's almost been like a kind of a cool thing for me. I kind of like the fact that in New Hope the shoulder pads are swapped, because ILM had 7 suits. I think Boba Fett would have several suits, and so he'd be like interchanging pieces with damages, so that's why the scratches don't have to always be the same on every helmet, because obviously it gets it banged up and tries to repair it and gets it banged up. But I even got asked recently at the Mexico City unboxing convention on a live, not live, but they were recording on the spot, and I wasn't expecting that question, and so I can't remember. I said something more or less to the same, not as detailed as I just did, but people notice those details.
So this took all day. So you had one in the morning, and then what? You had a morning and an afternoon. Yeah,
each one was different. The morning was the first shot, so just walking A to B. The afternoon was a bit more complex, but I'd had the whole morning to do it. So I don't think I even got out of the costume fully for lunch. I think I kept most of it on for lunch. It was just easier, and I didn't care about lunch. I just wanted to do it. So the afternoon, I had a start position point. I had to walk to a second mark and stop, look around, survey the docking bay, make sure everything was cool, and then go to my third mark. And again, there was a mark for Harrison Ford's eye line on the blue screen. So if I wanted to look his way, I knew exactly where and the height of his eye line would be. So a lot of people would ask me, why'd you look in the camera on that shot? And, it wasn't until I saw the playback, the dailies, after the shoot, that I ever saw that T-visor did appear to be looking at camera. Because as I said, you have limited mobility in the suit. And so when I was turning this way to look as far as I could, my eyes are looking this way, but the T-visor stays square to camera. I can't tell this because I'm looking. And when I look back, and when it came up in, it was the 11th take was the one that happened on, as into the camera as it does look, and George said that's the one. So I was like, oh, well, if he likes it, then I love it. So again, it's like I used to get people like saying, why'd you do that? You spoiled it. I'm sorry, didn't mean to do it. It wasn't something I did intentionally. You know, as I said, you had very limited visibility. It's all you could do to try your best to look around. But I didn't look into the camera intentionally.
Yeah, it looks cool though, I think.
It does look cool.
Because you know what?
It looks cool.
Only Boba Fett would have the balls to look at the camera.
I know. I agree.
So, I've done a lot of stuff. I've been in things, I've shot things. Always the saddest time is when they say it's a wrap.
Oh, yeah. Because I didn't want to take the suit off. I didn't want to take the suit off,
Could have taken it home and used it as your jam.
Well, I knew. It was funny because when I took it off at the summits, there was always the prospect, there might be another summit. And, because there had been a second one. So when I took it off that second time, maybe because I sensed through the force that it was going to happen, I don't know. Didn't feel as sad as when I took it off. When I took it off after the blue screen shoot, it was like I was saying goodbye to Boba Fett. It's kind of a sad moment, very poignant. But that suit ended up being shipped off to the Smithsonian. It went on an exhibit of all the costumes. And so at one point I did get to see the suit again. It came back to Los Angeles to the Fashion Museum now. And even had a plaque saying, as worn by Mark Anthony Austin in a New Hope Special Edition. And there's no flash photography. You could take pictures, but you couldn't take flash. And it wasn't, there's no spotlight on the sign. No. So I asked the guy, the guard, is he going to take a picture with a flash? He's like, just that plaque. No. Okay. So I took a couple without. I figured I might enhance them, but even enhanced, they were blurry. So, but it was sad saying goodbye to the suit. There was one button did actually fall off one of the gloves, and for years I had that button. I probably will find it in a tissue paper or an envelope sometime in the future in some weird place, but I hope I do. But that was the only thing I was like, oh well, it just fell off, rather than throw it away. I do remember this. I remember it happened. I think it was a Tuesday. If it was a Thursday, then it was really fast. It must have been the next afternoon. It could have been because they were really fast. It wasn't really real to me until I saw me in it. I mean, I what I'd experienced was me walking on blue sheeting. That's all I'd seen. I didn't see all the stuff they were seeing. They were seeing that. I was just walking and I could see this. That's my view all that day. And so when I got called in, and Steve called me into the screening room, editing suite, and they were playing the footage. They were playing the take that George had picked, because they just composited them all into the shot. So he looked at them all like they were all actual performances in the docking bay, and so he picked that 11th one. But as soon as he had, and that's when Spaz came and got me and said, "Do you want to see it?" I'm like, "See what?" I didn't think it would be that quick. See what? See the shot. Oh yeah, I thought I was going to see the one that he picked, me against Blue. So I looked, and there's all the people leaving, and in our walk, I'm like, holy crap! I can't believe it. It was the shot looking at the camera, the one where I did look at, where it looks like I looked at the T. I've already told you I didn't. But that shot was the one that I was looking at. I didn't see the first one until I went to the movie and saw the opening night of the special edition. But that was when it became real. That's like the period at the end of you are Boba Fett.